nice music. We can sing a little bit or dance or to make you more comfortable. Hi everyone, thank you very much for being with us today. I would just start with a short round of introduction. Even Jean-François did it already a little bit, but let's go in a bit more details. Pam, so you are a thought leader in the agricultural biologicals industry. You're an entrepreneur and innovation advisor for biologicals. You have started and led four. You just started the Invasion Species Corporation. Congratulations. Another one. When will you stop? Never. No. Okay, and you're chairwoman of Elicit Plants. Yes. Welcome. Mark, so you are CEO of Dunham Trimmer Market Research, and you provide independent market research and strategic consulting for the global biopesticide, biostimulant, and biofertilizer markets. And Jean-François said you're the best one. What I understand, yeah. So you lead the membership committee, you're board of chair of the Biological Products Industry Alliance, which is the North American trade association for biological products. Francesc Llaurad, so you are CEO of Lainco Agro Sirius Agribusiness Consulting, which you support companies in the agricultural sector on plant protection products. And you are currently the administrator of Lainco, which is an agrochemical and pharmaceutical company. Welcome too. Felipe Sulzbach, you are the country head of Elicit Plant Brazil since 1 year. Good. You were working for more than 15 years in renowned multinational companies such as Bayer. Mit den Deutschen haben Sie gearbeitet? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. We have a German friend too. Yeah, Bavarian. And you have extensive experience in project management, development, and technical positioning of new products. Yeah, am I right? Anything I missed? No? Okay, so you all come from the major cropping regions in the world, and now we would like to focus on the issues of drought, water scarcity, and how to avoid losses in agricultural production. Perhaps let's start with taking stock of the situation. So what is concretely the impact of water scarcity in your region on agriculture? Perhaps we can just start. Take your mic. Mark, if you would like to start.
So speaking for the North American region, what I can say for certain is we are seeing much more frequent and much more extreme droughts, heat stress throughout the growing region of the U.S. From Pam's region in the West especially, we've seen extended multi-year droughts that have been impacting the production and also the availability of water for those farmers who are fortunate enough to have irrigation.
Wow, okay, so does it mean lower yields and higher yield variability?
Definitely in dryland agriculture for sure. For those who are relying on rain-fed production, they're seeing significant variability in production from year to year.
Okay, do you think you have seen an acceleration of droughts since you have an experience of 35 years in the sector?
I think they're becoming more widespread. In the past, my impression was that droughts were more localized. Now they seem to be impacting much larger regions when they do occur, and they tend to be much more severe and long-lasting than they have been in past years.
Okay, thank you. Francesc, what about the situation in Southern Europe? We have heard all about heat waves and droughts.
In South Europe, I would say that the drought situation is something very common since ever, I would say. But the situation in the last 20 years is really totally different than what we had in the past. And if I come more close to this year, for example, in 2022, the drought situation was really very, very high. Farmers in Spain lost 8 billion euros in harvest. 8 billion euros.
8 billion, wow. Okay.
in Spain. We think that in 2023 probably will be around 12 billion. That means
Which is enormous.
it's enormous.
Just in Spain.
Just in Spain. That means all of this money is lost by the farmers, but is paid by the consumers as well. If we take in account on the forecast in the next 40, 50 years, only in Spain, 75% of the land, agricultural land, could be desert. We are in a very, very hard situation.
Okay, and have you observed farmers forced to give up because of yield reduction?
Absolutely. We have different phenomena. One of the phenomena is that more and more farmers are merging, having more large farms. Because when you lose money, if you are big, you are less sensible to this loss. This is one of the effects. Second one is the farmers are taking more and more in consideration making some changes in irrigation to save water, and having crops that could need less water.
Yeah, resistant.
But it's something that is not easy, and that we will talk probably today about that.
Yeah, of course, we'll talk about the economics. Yeah, Felipe, what about the situation in Brazil?
Yeah,
Is it similar?
In Brazil, it's similar because we have a big country and different regions, and every region have a different behavior. For example, 2 seasons ago, we have the government make a monitoring of what is the losses only regarding drought. Only drought in Brazil means 30 billion euros in 1 season, only for drought. Yeah, and for example, because I see the speech for the Arctic, yeah, it's very interesting because.
Can you just keep the mic a bit closer for the translator?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I see in the south of Brazil, we have during 3 seasons a severe drought, and this drought reduced the yield by a half. Like, do you have 2 tons of corn per hectare? This is nothing. And this caused, in 6 months ago, we have severe drought. And now, 3 weeks ago, we have one rain with 300 millimeters. The rivers grow up more than 30 meters and devastate a lot of cities. This is direct impact of the climate change in Brazil.
Yeah.
This is only one example.
Yeah, yeah. What about other countries in South America? Are this the same situation as in Brazil?
We have some situations like in Chile and Argentina. We have some kind of deserts.
Yeah.
Because in the same position in the globe, and then the behavior is almost the same. Because Argentina suffered a lot with drought, exactly what happened in the south of Brazil.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Pam, so you act in the world of R&D, innovation, startups. So can you tell us about the trends, the R&D trends, tendencies in crop protection amendment technologies?
Yes, there is an explosion of startups in biologicals. There's billions of dollars or billions of euros investing of investors investing in biological startups. And while the venture capital investment has gone down in most sectors in 2023, it has not gone down in biologicals. So investors have woken up who are from climate tech and figured out that biologicals is a really good way to improve soil health, reduce greenhouse gas emission, improve growers' return on investment. So what I'm seeing is, because I'm known in this field, I get a startup calling me every week, and so there's so many of them. And when I think there can't be any more new technologies, then somebody comes up with a very new idea that's quite interesting, like Elicit Plant, who I didn't hear anything about until I was contacted by a recruiter. But what we're seeing are lots of new microorganisms, so new species and new strains that can control pests, improve soil health, sequester carbon, and help with water stress. We're seeing a number of natural molecules like peptides and signaling molecules, enzymes that are helping crop growth and controlling pests. Then I'm seeing a lot of companies starting up in the what's called RNA interference. That's using the organism's own RNA to stop them. So lots of pest management companies going into that area. What I don't see are a lot of companies focusing on water stress. So
Why that?
yeah, that is very interesting.
we should ask them.
So there's many companies, hundreds of companies that are biostimulant companies. Seaweed extracts, as I said, humic acids, amino acids, and they will claim that one of their modes of action is water stress management, but that's one of many claims. But there's only a handful of companies that I can name, less than this one hand, that are really dedicated to water stress management. I think because it's kind of new, even though we've known that this was a big problem as climate change is happening and the droughts become more severe, then companies realize, oh, wow, this is a big factor in crop yield, of course. But Elicit stands out because it is a company that is so specifically dedicated with novel technology. No other company focusing on phytosterols, and they have best-in-class field data, which you'll hear about, that gives an increase in yield above what other companies claim. And so there's just not a lot of peer companies to Elicit.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting, Mark.
Yeah, and if I could pick up on what Pam's saying, a lot of the companies that I work with, I see are trying to deal with water stress when they do through indirect means. They're trying to improve the soil health, improve the soil's water holding capacity, but they're not really applying a product that is directly changing the plant's demands for water.
But this is the
And
most
that's-
important issue, one
yeah.
of the most important. So
Yeah,
this is
and I think that's
it's
where
strange.
Elicit Plant really stands out as being different.
Okay. So when we go on a little bit on the solutions in your regions, Mark, what can you tell us? What are the solutions to all the issues you have mentioned to the water scarcity?
Unfortunately for the growers, there are not a lot of really good ones. Of course, there's plant breeding, and that can include transgenic crops or can include traditional breeding practices to get better traits into the crop plants to make them more tolerant of drought. That's sort of a long-term and a traditional approach. I mentioned irrigation earlier. Irrigation is the other tool that is most commonly employed. And then you have this group of biostimulants, plant growth regulators, some specialty nutrition products that are applied to help alleviate the plant's stress when it's in a water stress or a heat stress condition. But most of those don't work extremely well.
Yeah,
Pam
exactly.
Pam said they are more generalist and they have a lot of different benefits.
Genetical approach or irrigation is very expensive, and you need water
Yeah,
to irrigate. So what are the limits of these
and they
approaches?
have to be employed before the drought event occurs. I mean, the grower has to make a decision at the start of the growing
preventive
season.
way, yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that when a drought begins to
It's too late.
come, it's too late. Yeah, exactly. The loss is there. So there really are not very many effective solutions available to growers. It's extremely limited.
But yeah, can you tell us about the solutions which has been tested, or
Yeah,
about your solution in Brazil?
No, good question.
The best one?
Yeah,
What
because we intensify, because we take the knowledge of friends and put all of this knowledge in the field in two different ways. One, with researchers, and another one direct in farmers, but in real big areas like 5, 10, 40 hectares for each farm to see the details of the product. And because the farmers suffer a lot, and in the same region we have severe drought, we can improve the yield of these areas. yeah, by 12%, almost 12 bags more in this specific region. For the farmers, pay the cost because they the reduction of the yield is so much in this situation. And corn is suitability for the farmer. Why? Because they need the straw to maintain the health of the soil, maintain the humidity of the soil, and this is very important to the whole system. And we bring much more than water consumption to reduce the water consumption. This we see in the next season. And this is very good for the farmer in this situation. And of course, we have the opposite scenario when we go in Paraná state, for example, is in the south, but a lot of rain in the same season. And the product improved the yield too. Yeah, and this is amazing because the product is for dry. But what we see in the farmers,
Yeah.
they can produce more and with a very regular data. And this for us is a big surprise, of course. And we have a tool in Brazil for abiotic stress, not only for drought, but for too much water in the system. And this is another discovery, nice discovery against the phytosterols.
Okay, so you adapt the solution to local issues, which is very important. You take the basis technology and you adapt.
Yes.
Okay, to local issues. Okay, and you, what about you? Spain or in other regions in the Mediterranean area? What have you observed? What are the solutions? Effective solutions?
But there are several ways to explore and to put in the action plan. I would say having the of course we need the states and the government. We need the full society working in this way because it's a question of a lot of money. Is that we can improve all the irrigation system. We can even make intelligent irrigation systems with digitalization. We can even calculate the humidity in the soil and only apply the quantity that the plant needs. So we can make more and more regenerative agriculture. That means that we are taking into account the soil and what kind of soil we can regenerate it to keep the maximum quantity in the water and so on. So we can even select the crops in some regions, put the crops that can really be more productive because the soils and the climate and the probability of the rains could be better. We can produce more in some seasons, and then we can keep this food, the grains, etc., waiting for the season that's probably will be less than. But we are too many people. It's not so easy to make as well. And from the genetics, my belief, so far we know that the genetics are today at the maximum they can really offer in more yield and even in adaptability to the new climatic situation. That means one of the ways is to identify a product like the phytosterols that could say to the plant, hey, try to survive with less water. Try to keep the same yield with less water. And then it's something that I believe that we can really explore on that because we have the real elements that all the vegetables and even animals can really be scientifically educate by the signals to say you can use better the quantity of the water you have available to growth.
What you mentioned, you said that we don't have a lot of innovative solutions right now. Do you agree with Mark on this point?
I think there's a lot of innovation in the whole biological area, but it's focused on either pest management, controlling pests, or increasing yield in other ways. Just not a lot of companies dedicated to water and water stress management.
Yeah.
Particularly, there's just a few. Yeah.
Some genetics and seed companies
Oh, yeah.
will need to improve but not so efficiency. And to introgress this kind of genes is not so easy.
That's true. There is
Yeah.
a company that bought my last company, BioSeries, that does have HB4 trait in wheat that has been very successfully launched. That is focused on water stress. Yeah.
Okay, and water stress, for example, the Elicit Plant solution, is this real hope for farmers and growers?
I think yes.
I think that's
I'm
not
suspicious.
the question
I'm suspicious.
I wanted all the others. Of course, you say yes. So what do you think?
Yes, we are. I'm following the trials in several regions in the world from made by different, not only Elicit, but by independent farmers and so on. And we have the clear indications that this product really can offer a difference between everything we can see today in the market. There are many products that could be advertised like management of stress, hydric stress of the plants and so on. So, but in reality, they are not. The unique one that we have seen, maize, and I saw that in Portugal, and so in Spain as well in the trials. The unique one that we can really see that even the leaf, they in the normal situation they had really to be open. They start closing really to say, oh, I tried to save some water. I don't know what happened tomorrow. It's something that I don't know. It's the product today is the best one in the world, but it's probably the unique one in this direction.
Yeah, I think definitely it has a bright future. And I think some of the things that are really interesting about the Elicit Plant solution are the fact that it's easy to use. I mean, it's one application, and it has impact for the entire growing season. So it's easy for a grower to incorporate with other products he's already applying. You know, it can be employed after a drought event has been seen coming on the horizon, so the grower doesn't have to make that decision at seeding or at crop establishment.
Yeah.
He can wait and have to, before he has to make that decision to make the investment in the crop. And I think that's a huge advantage too. And as I said earlier, there just aren't very many competing solutions. And the diversity of crops that this solution can be used across, I think, is extremely promising for its potential.
Yeah, I look at the science, and when I was first approached by Jean-François, I said, okay, show me the data. And the data, they have hundreds more trials since then, but the data was very compelling. And when you compile it together and average the yield increase across the world and across the trials and across a crop, it stands out because I see a lot of companies, as I said, and they might be claiming, 5% yield improvement used to be good. No, today with so many companies and so much new technology, you need more than that. And what I'm seeing with Elicit is 10+%. That is unusual. It stands out above the pack. And then look at the consistency. When I talk to growers, I said, well, I tried it one year and maybe it worked, but then I don't know if it worked the next year. So they need something that's going to be reliable every year. And I like the word, the win rate. So this is the number of trials or the percentage of the trials that increased yield. And usually it's around, for most companies, 75, 80, 85 sometimes. Well, Elicit has a 90+% win rate, which means more than 90% of the time, it shows a yield increase. So this technology has proved, and they know how it works scientifically and can explain that. So it stands out above those who don't know how to do that and have data that's not as good.
Yeah. Do you think so that traditional solutions are not enough? That we have new innovations and traditional solutions.
Yeah.
together?
So yes, they're not enough, and the world has changed so rapidly, and agriculture changes so rapidly now that I see lots of legacy companies and lots of legacy technology. They're great companies that built to a certain point, and they can't go to the next level because it's become so crowded in this biological area. So you really have to have something that stands above.
And I would add in too that with traditional solutions, many times it's hard for the grower to see the product is working.
Yeah.
And if I apply humic acid to my soil, my crop really doesn't look different in the first year. And it's, but it may be improving, but it's hard for a company to prove that to a grower or to a customer. I've seen photos that the Elicit Plant people have shared where it would be extremely easy to demonstrate to a grower that this product is making a difference in your crop.
Yeah, based on data, and we collect a lot of data in different assessments during the last season. And one specific assessment is very nice to do in the field, is regarding the oxidative stress of the plants. Oh. And this is pretty nice because you can see, usually we see by our eyes, but how many? We see the leaf area, how many is the impact? But when we measure, we have technology to do this. We use some technology like some APPs, we can see the increase of leaf area. If you have more leaf area, the plant support more. And for this specific assessment for oxidative stress, we adapt some methodology for the field together with some researchers. We can see the plant treated by the phytosterols, they is 3.6% less stressed than the other, because it's a very, very, very low data. The size of the sample is small, very small. Thank you. And and this means really, this technology really change the way of the plant support abiotic stress, and we prove this. And when in my past life, everything we do is regarding data. But now one company just was born. It's too strong in data. We have answer for many, many questions. One specific question, because the first question, of course, one farmer do is the price, but the second one is how I can mix in the tank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because many technologies, we can't mix in the tank. We make many trials with some researchers. We can use with insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, and this is really like a perfect tool for the farmer. It's easy to use, really. And this is this product adapt of the yield production of the farmer.
How to make, because we mentioned several times farmers have to give up because of yield losses. And so how can you make agriculture profitable? How can make food production be performant?
Well, probably it is the best question of today. Yes.
Hey, if you can give a solution, it would be great.
I don't know. You can put money in the game and disappear very quick. You can put in parties, and probably is the best one. And you can be so sure to lose money is to put money in the agriculture. That's clear. But it's a joke. It's clear. but how to make more productive agriculture? Well, it's a very, very difficult question because we are more people. The people don't like to spend too much money or don't have enough money for food. And then the limits of the agriculture and the climatic change and everything we discussed today are really limiting the yield everywhere. I think that this kind of products, like to come back to the phytosterols, is to continue developing the product with the farmers. We can compare with the first smartphone, and okay, it was quite nice, but then using the users, the new improving how to use new users and so on, so based on the experience of the users. I'm convinced that the basis is here. The basis of the product is really here. Now we needed to move to another step is to develop the product after the experience of the farmers. That means I use this product in this way. I apply not at 8 or 10
And
leaves,
this is not the
but
case?
at 12.
This is not a
You know,
circular
we are
movement.
talking about the development that could take 10 years, 20 years and more. It's improving, improving, and improving. Each region, each plant, each piece of land can have a different kind of application, different kind of everything. You know, each farmer can really teach us about how to use better the product. And that is very important. That's why the team of Elicit Plant everywhere in the world is very, very important to have a big ears and really taking information from the farms.
I'd like to answer that question in a different way, and that is, it starts with soil health. We have degraded our soils globally and in farming, and so getting back to and creating a healthy soil in a regenerative agriculture way is going to help farmers be more profitable. I have traveled around and visited many farmers who are converting to more regenerative practices, and the crop is more resilient, more drought tolerant, and higher yielding, and even has higher nutritional density. And what we're seeing with the number of the companies I advise is that on top of that, biologicals can accelerate the transition, successful transition to regenerative agriculture, because it takes like 7 years, 5 to 7 years. But by using certain biologicals, you can reduce that time to maybe 3. So that is really valuable to pair the biological technology with regenerative practices.
Okay, Mark.
I'll take even a different tactic and say one of the challenges for growers, I think globally, is understanding all these new biological products and concepts and techniques that are available. There's literally over 1,000 companies around the world that are producing new biological technologies. So it's really important for a company like Elicit Plant to develop a very effective communication program, not just to growers, but the distributors who are going to sell the product, to universities and other research institutes, to get them knowledgeable about the products so they can understand how to integrate these into the entire production system and get the most out of them. So often I talk to small retailers and distributors in the U.S. especially, and they'll tell me I see 3 to 4 companies a week come in my door with a new product that they want me to sell. And they said, I don't have time to understand which ones work and which ones don't. I don't have enough capacity to test them all. So their answer is, I don't sell a lot of them.
That's right.
So that's a real challenge.
So how do you see the role of innovation, of providing solutions? It's a co-construction of solutions.
Innovation is the key. I live in California, and because we're largely high-value crops, specialty crops, rather than large acre corn and soybean where I live, the growers don't get any price supports. They don't get the crop supports that the corn and soybean growers get in the United States, so the growers have to be extremely innovative. So California is always ground zero for adoption of new technology, and so we have the highest amount of organic farming, the highest number of penetration of biologicals, and the highest of ag tech, which means drones, sensors, big data, you name it. It's being implicated. It's being implemented on the farm. So innovation, I believe, is the answer here.
Yeah, you want to.
I completely agree with you, because the case in Brazil, last year, McKinsey published a research. The Brazilian farmers, they 56% use some biologicals.
Yeah.
And the adoption of a new technology it's appreciated for the farmers. But we need bring and communicate appropriately.
That's
So what are the
Brazil's become the
obstacles?
#1 market for biologicals, by the way. It's surpassed us in the United States. Yeah. So that's
Okay,
that's
what are the obstacles? It's about communication.
Communication is one. Yeah, we need to improve the communication, because normally the companies need to show the performance, because the farmer is it's static. They need to test the product.
Yeah.
And when they see the results by his own eyes, they really believe, they trust. And we need to create this behavior with the farmers, delivering trust. What I promise, I deliver. And is this consistent? As Pam mentioned, more than 90% is consistent. But if we go into other regions, 90%, again, consistent. And this means a very good tool for the farmer, very safe tool. And this means trust.
Okay.
Too many farmers I hear say, well, the biological company comes and they say it does everything all the time. It's, you know, and growers want specific instructions, exactly when you're going to apply it, what is the crop stage, what use rate, what can I mix it with, what does soil type matter, what does weather do to it? So those specific questions have to be answered by the company, and so Elicit is doing a very good job of that.
And what do you agree with me that most of the biologicals are currently targeting fruits and vegetables specialty? So why is this? Why are less solutions proposed, less innovation on all what is large acre crops?
Well, I'll start from the market perspective in the market studies we've done. That is definitely true in North America and Europe, that fruits and vegetables and high-value specialty crops have been the focal point for biological products. Number one, with biocontrol products, it was because it allowed the elimination of one or more chemical pesticides, so you're reducing the amount of pesticide residues on those high-value fruits and vegetables that are consumed naturally. The other part of it is that, you know, many times the cost of production of some biologicals limits their ability to enter the row crop or the broad acre crop market. But we are beginning to see some changes, and they're really starting in Brazil. And Brazil is the one country in the world where I see the predominant use of biologicals, both biocontrol and biostimulants, is in row crops. It's in corn, soy, cotton, sugarcane. That, you know, coffee. That's where their market is.
And how to make it more accessible to other countries, farmers in other countries?
Well, there's a lot of countries now that are looking at the success that Brazil has had and trying to identify what are the key steps they made. And you know, you sort of alluded to it earlier. One of the things is that the Brazilian government put into place policies to help the biological market develop. They reformed their regulatory programs. Embrapa, their research organization, got really heavily involved in researching biologicals. They put, you know, grants and investments into the biological industry, and they did a huge effort in educating young agricultural engineers, farmers, and the distribution. And all
But
that
all
came
this
together.
takes time.
Yeah, it
lot
takes
of-
time.
But they
but
did it very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within about a 3 to 4 year period, they made a huge change.
Brazil is just perfect.
Yeah.
You agree, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Once again, you agree.
Well, I should mention, though, that we've forgotten that actually in the United States, it's true that in crop protection, it's mostly specialty crops for biologicals, but seed treatment, most corn and soybean seeds in the U.S. are treated with at least one biological. So that's a breakout segment. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What
Yeah.
about the situation in Europe? In France, perhaps the focus.
Why seeds and why fruits and vegetables as a priority? For many reasons. Value of the crops, because it's fresh consumption, and the pest, the biggest quantity of pests and diseases are on fruits and vegetables. Row crops have less diseases and pests, and then the yield and the capacity of the yield in the good conditions, the row crops are until now probably needs less until now, less new products or less innovation. What changed now is that row crops needs water, a lot of water, and that is the new element that we are discussing today. Why Elicit Plant has an excellent product for the row crops because we have the water problem.
Okay, so you conducted trials in your countries. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more? In Europe, where did you? I think, Francesc, I've been told.
In Europe, I was in charge with my company to make trials in Portugal and in Spain. And we are waiting now to harvest to have the final results. We have the first observation, and then we follow up with the satellite all the crops in Spain and Portugal, 10 trials in Spain and 5 in Portugal, and we can really follow up and to see the differences between the treat and non-treat in different situations. This year was a very complicated year, a very dry year, and even in some regions they cut the water because no more water. We had a lot of different problems. That means it's a critical year that the results have to be really observed with some care because are not definitive one. Anyway, what we can see until now is that we really saw the differences between the treated and non-treated. We really see that the vigor of the plants are different in the treated and non-treated. And then now we are waiting for the harvest to have the results, the yield, the different yield to see, and if in quantity and even in quality there are some differences.
In Brazil, we hiring more than 28 research institutes across Brazil, different places, to the south, to the north. We make more than 50 trials with researchers in soybean and corn. And what we see, the result in corn is almost 1 ton per hectare. Yeah, and this is in the average of all of the trials. And in soybean, 4.5 bags more. This means something like 300 kilos and so. Very, very consistent results. And for us, and for the researchers, when they see such a kind technology, his eyes are shining, because they tested, like you mentioned, a lot of different products every year, but the products don't perform. And when they see something different, they see another opportunity to the farmers to perform in the field and guarantee the suitability of the farmers too.
Okay, so my last questions will be how to go further and faster. We heard from Heidi, we have to accelerate, there is no time to lose. So what will be key, and how will innovation be key? You mentioned it is key, but how can we, do you have partnerships, or how can we go further and faster? Because climate change is accelerating.
That's a very good question.
But there is no answer.
Well, no, I think there's multiple solutions. Yes, innovation, technology, but also policy, as we saw in Brazil. When I'll speak some politics here, because Europe is very, very slow on approving biocontrol products. And this has hampered, they've removed lots of chemical pesticides from the market, but have not. It takes more than 5 to 7 years to get a new biological to market, less than 1 year in Brazil, and 18 months to 2 years in US. So the farmer is there without these solutions, yet their traditional solutions have been removed. So policy has to change in accelerating the adoption, the regulatory and adoption of these biologicals. That's number one for Europe.
Good. What is your number one, Mark?
Well, I would agree with Pam first that European regulatory policy really is a key one. I think the other thing is really just driving forward, just like Elicit Plant has been doing, driving forward the promotion, development, and really being aggressive in getting new exciting technologies globally introduced, not just in your home country. I see so many companies that do have some interesting technology. They're focused on their home country, and it takes them 4, 5, 6, 7 years to even think about moving outside their country. And a lot of that sometimes is they don't have the resources, they don't have the people, but they need to find ways to leverage their resources, find partners to move those things out faster.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Francesco, so do you think that the problem, the issue of water scarcity is sufficiently addressed in Europe? Or how to accelerate? What is
No,
needed?
we have in Europe. We are not in a good move in this direction. We need a regulatory is really key to development of the biological products in the future. That means very fast lane for biological products, and then to be very strict with the snake oils, and that are making a lot of bad image of the biological products. We have to be really in Europe very strict. You cannot sell any product that is not really approved by the regulatory, the rules, quick rules and clear rules to put the products in the market. That is, for me, is the key for the future, is the key for the development.
Thank you. Yeah. Do you think there is a gap between awareness and action?
Yes, in some cases. But we need to understand what is the behavior of the farmer.
Yes.
This is mandatory for me. If we understand the farmer, we will communicate appropriately. Yeah? And we can communicate even what happened in regulatory in a very clear scenario. Because when we talk, the farmer don't understand many times regulatory arena. Yeah? And then we need to bring this kind of communication, more assertive communication, and this generate trust. And with this, we can go more quick.
There's surveys of global farmers around the world will show that 40 to 50% of all farmers have unclear perception of biologicals. The rest of the group, 40 to 50% that are using biologicals, have a favorable view. So how do you get to, you can really spark adoption by getting to those 40 to 50% of growers that do not understand this sector, do not know how to use them, are not aware of them. And that's our job here, right?
And you did a great job. Okay, before I hand over to the audience for the Q&A session, just one word. What should we remember? What is really key to remember from each of you? Is there something, a key message you want to convey?
No, you guys go.
So you think...
I can talk because this is really a game changer for the farmer. This technology is unique because I work 10 years in research. I never see one product like this. Because of this, I trust in the product. I see the results, and because of I need to convince myself first. And when I convince myself...
And it's done, so you are convinced,
course.
so you can convince
Of course.
now. Yeah, of
But,
course, it works like that.
With solid data, based on science, and this means trust.
You've said it all. I don't need to say any more.
Good. Okay. So now I hand over to the audience. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions ou des commentaires, des témoignages?
Oui, déjà, je voulais remercier nos 4 participants à la roundtable qui ont volontairement venu témoigner de leur expérience. Un point qui est quand même important. Vous m'entendez ? Oui, merci Marc d'avoir noté que notre solution était unique. Cependant, je dirais, nous cherchons vraiment à développer l'écosystème parce qu'on sait que tout seul, on ne va pas y arriver. Et par exemple, la plupart de nos essais se font avec des semences déjà optimisées, je dirais, pour des conditions de sécheresse. Et nous, on essaye d'aller un stade plus loin, donc d'empiler finalement des solutions pour être synergiques sur... So my comments was on the fact... My comments was on the fact that we are piling up solutions, for instance, on optimized seed in order to get even better results to the farmers when we do the trials or in real situation. Moreover, with regards to adoption of new technology, we know that if we focus on early adopters of this kind of seeds, they will take our product first. Et également, ça fait partie de notre stratégie de développement, dans une tactique d'adoption, d'aller vers ceux qui sont déjà vers ce type de semences, parce que c'est le même message. On cherche à faire la même chose et on est complémentaires.
Merci.
I'd like to, what I would like to understand is your view on seeding breeding technology, as you mentioned earlier. How do you judge the potential and the success of CRISPR-Cas in particular? Is it a breakthrough? Is it a game changer? And if yes, I mean, I'm particularly relating this to drought stress. And if it is a game changer, by when to expect?
You want to answer that one?
Well, from a technology standpoint, yes, it is a game changer. But one of the things, and sort of picking up on what Jean-Francois talked about too, is if you're relying on breeding technologies and getting new traits into seeds and varieties, it's a long-term process even for annual crops. And don't even think about perennial crops like fruit trees. The cost of replacement is just enormous. The other thing too is, if you think about seed treatments, and many crops, we're already putting so many products on the seed that there's not much room for anything else. So for your product to get on the seed, you have to displace another one. One of the great things about the Elicit approach is it's a foliar approach, which, as Felipe said, can be tank mixed with other products. It's entirely extremely flexible. So CRISPR-Cas, from a scientist's view, it's a really neat technology tool for molecular biology and for plant breeding. Provides huge advantages over some of the other techniques we've used in the past. But I don't see it as something that's going to radically change agriculture in the immediate future.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Is there any other question or comment? We have no question from the web audience.
Ready for a drink, right?
We still have quite a bit of the program left,
Yeah,
though.
I think perhaps no more questions. Okay, good, great. Thank you. Just I would like, thank you very much.